This quick overview of a fairly major release we've made to Billink today, Billink Payments. First of all, a special thank you to a couple of PMs, practice managers that have really helped out over the last number of weeks and months really since launch, and that is Rachel Bothwell from Arklow, William Buckley from Galway, Lisa Lynch from Oakwood, and Deirdre McKenna from Fairview. So this release would not have been possible without their input and suggestions on some of these core features. So I'm just going to dive right in, show you the main features. You can play around with it, and please, by all means, send me an email or the team, and we'll go through any questions that you might have. Most of the changes here are based around the dashboard and SMS messaging and some customizations there. So let's jump into the dashboard and have a look. So this is the Socrates version, but the dashboard for HPM is the same, and hopefully the release for H1 at the end of the month will also be the same. You can see from the layout here, a couple of new toggles. So to quickly go through these, the left-hand side of the screen remains the same. You can edit your practice image anytime you like, and they will update on the payments page. So you can easily update a new image over there at any stage just by browsing from your folders and attaching them. Second thing is that we've not changed anything for the payment summary, so it'll always show you the date of your next payment, if there's cash in transit to the bank, if there's an outstanding balance for the SMS messages that have been sent, and what the net position is. This is a test account, so obviously it's negative. Now, one of the first new changes is we've brought in now 4 options for reminders or SMS. So by default, and the biggest thing to remember for this release is by default there's no changes, so you have to actively switch on these changes if you want them from your dashboard. So at the moment, if you send a Billink SMS payment request to a patient, they will get a reminder if the Billink remains outstanding within 24 hours. You can now add an additional reminder after 48 hours, an additional one after 7 days, and another one after 30 days if you want, and you can pick and choose through those. You don't need to click save here. Once you move the toggle, it'll already update. So this patient, if I send a payment here from this test account, a patient will get a reminder 24, 48, 7 days, and 30 days from the date of the initial Billink being sent out. Another feature requested from many practices is some customization around what emails they get. So at the moment, by default, we send a CC or a BCC of all receipts to the practice. You can now easily switch that off. If you don't need receipts anymore, that's cool. We'll always keep a copy of it too and can generate one. So if you want it on or off, you can switch that here. We send a remittance report each time we make a payment to the practice. That's also in the back end in the payment section, so you don't really need that. It's a nice to have, so you can switch it off if needs be. Again, it's there as an option. There is a copy of that remittance report which will be in the back end for you as well, and it's been there since the start. And then finally, the insight reports. So lots of really good feedback from those insight reports we send out on Mondays now. So if you didn't want to get those insight reports anymore, you can switch them off here, but hopefully you'll leave them on. Now, this is the main section of it here is the SMS. So the biggest feedback we've gotten since launch is practices need greater functionality and flexibility around how to create the SMS messages that go out. So that's what we've done. So the first thing to remember is that unless you change something here, the standard SMS will go out as default. And the standard SMS is, hi, patient name, please find attached our secure payment link, kind regards, the practice name, and then the link. So that's one SMS credit. That's the way it's set up, and that'll continue for the time being. Now, you can get really creative about this, and you can chop and change them. Once you set and lock in a template for the SMS, that's the template that will be used for all future SMSs unless you come back. If you ever want to reset to the default, so our bog standard SMS template, you can just come in here and click reset at any stage, and it'll reset to the standard one. But let's say I wanted to get a little bit fancy. What I've done here is I've put in an edited section here in the middle, and then show you what an example on the right would be. So you edit it here in the middle, and it shows you what the link would look like on the right hand side as it goes to the patient. So first off, let's say you wanted to change the practice name. So let's say the practice was Galway Medical Centre, right? And you couldn't fit that in, so you might decide, well, there's a character limit, and this is imposed by the network, it's not from us, but there's a character limit of 12 characters. So you can change that to maybe Galway Med Centre, Med-C, and you can click save. Now when patients get a text, it'll come in as Galway Med-C. and you can edit and change that as many times as you like. We recommend picking one and sticking to it though, because otherwise patients might confuse and think it's coming from a different practice. So pick one that fits in, that makes kind of clear to the patient, and once you click out, it'll save. Now, you can see up here there's sample content. So I have the sample practice name here called Test Practice Billink. I have a sample amount due of €50. I have a sample service provided. I have a service date. I have a sent by, and I have a consultation type. So these are to mimic the type of things that would get added into the SMS, so that you can play around with this. So let's say I wanted to build a new SMS template for my practice, and I wanted to include all of those, right, everything. So what I could say is my new SMS template might be Dear, and I want to include the patient name. So I'm going to click on this add-on here, and I put in a comma. Please find attached our secure payment link, which I'll put at the bottom in a minute. Payment link for the amount of, and you can click the amount due, and then you can add this is for, and you can insert the service. So whatever was provided, it's a consultation type. So that would insert the consultation type, and any note that you attach to it. So if it's private consultation, you know, for a medical, or whatever it might be, that'll get inserted there. This is for service with, and you can say who it was provided with. So it could be the doctor or the nurse or whoever the healthcare provider is on that billing page. And you can put in the service date. So drop a new line and then put in the payment link, and you can see what it looks like. So it'll be, Dear Sean Higgins, please find attached your secure payment link for the amount of €50. It'll pull whatever the amount is that due. This is for whatever the consultation type and the note is. So for example, if you add an additional note on the billing page, like this is for 4 consultations due, or whatever it might be, that free text note gets pulled in here as well if you want it. And you can see the text here is Dr. Nurse, but if in the system that bill is for, say, Dr. Murphy, then when the patient gets the SMS, it'll say the name of the doctor that's in there. Now, you can make that as fancy or as simple or as complicated as you like, or you could stay with default, but we find that the more details that are in it, the less likely that a patient might think that it's spam. Because we're currently getting conversion rates of about 60%, and we want to get that above 90. So our goal is that 9 out of 10 blinks that go out should be paid by the patient, and we think the more information in here, the better. Now, you might decide to add in the default practice name at the end of it, and you can see that this is defaulted to, say, what is it, some test practice name here. But I might decide, you know what, I'm going to put in manually type in the practice name because it might just fit neater, or it might be colloquially known as the centre, the medical centre, rather than the formal practice trading name or the legal name. So I can just say the med centre, and I might decide to put in a phone number myself, or I could actually insert in the contact number. So we can take the contact number as well. Once I click save, that's now locked. So that means that any blinks that get sent out will be sent with that character count and character layout and those insertions, and you can test those yourself by sending them to your own mobile. We'll also show you the number of SMSs that it costs. Now that's a much longer SMS than the default one, so it costs 2 credits, but you can make them as big or as small as needed. The only thing that you have to remember that always needs to be included in is the payment link. So if I try and save one here without the payment link, so for example here, if I didn't have the payment link saved, it'll prompt me to put it in, because you can't send out a blink without a payment link in there. So that's always going to be there, and I click save. So that's a really quick run through on the new features on the dashboard, the toggles here, and the SMS. So you can play around that and tailor that for your own practice. And then I'm also now going to show you, this also came up from quite a few practices. We've made some changes around the transaction page. So lots of times an SMS, a message might be sent out, and it might be sent to an old number. And the patient practice, the number may no longer be valid, right? So what we've done is we now pull instantly if that blink has been delivered to that mobile or not. So you can see here, I sent one earlier, and I can view it, and I can see that there's a it'll show an error message here. We'll tidy that up this morning, and it'll show basically that it wasn't delivered. So you can see a little red dot will say that the message was not delivered to that handset. So a really cool feature that we brought in this release as well is that I can now resend it, but I can change the number that I'm sending it to. So I can type in my number, so which is say 353-857-230-441, and if I click OK, what that'll do now is it'll resend it to to a new mobile number. So this is super handy. If you sent out an SMS, you can see that, oh, from a red dot it's not delivered. You want to resend it to a new mobile number without having to create a new Billink. You can do it now straight through that. So if I go back in here, you can see that it's now actually been delivered to the handset. So that's come up on my phone, which should be able to see it. See it here. Go AMC, and it'll be with whatever layout the original message was. So whatever the original message was, you're just resending that message again. So that should be super helpful in terms of correcting some of the older SMS numbers that might be there in the chart, and you can eyeball instantly which are delivered and which aren't. And that could explain why patients haven't transacted, because it hasn't actually been delivered to their handset. One final thing on this page before I go is it would be really handy to be able to see when the payments come in. So we brought that in. So it was an oversight when we first released it. So now you can see here that we have a certain this is a Billink that's been paid by myself today for €1, and you can see we've now included the date and time. So you can now add a filter up here, and you can go paid, and then you can filter and you can apply, and then you can change the order date here as well. So I can see, show me the Blinks that are paid, and then I can say, well, just show me the ones in reverse chronological order, so you can instantly track which ones came in this morning. So, and you don't need to filter on the top here. You can show, you can clear all, and then you can filter it based on the paid timestamps as well. So that release is just out this morning. We have a couple of typos and some text changes to bring in as well in a subsequent release, in another release this afternoon. If you have any questions or any queries at all, please don't hesitate to send us an email. You can email me at sean.higgins@blinkpayments.com. There's also a support email that you'll be able to see at the bottom of the main dashboard page here, which is contact@blinksupport.com. If you need any help with tailoring these SMSs, because it's important to get it done right the first time, we also include the date of the SMS of the consultation as well. So if you want to send someone a bill, and the bill is sent today, but it's for a date 7 days in the past, it'll pull up whatever date is there on the inserted on the billing page. So you can, that's pretty good for jogging people's memory as well. So that's it. I'll document more of this and put an email out to everybody with a link to this video. Hopefully it wasn't too quick. Thank you everybody for using it. We're now got a significant number of practices using it, and lots of suggestions, and a really exciting roadmap coming through over the next couple of months. Thank you again to all the practice managers and GPs who've given us feedback. We're really proud of the service so far, and hopefully we'll continue to grow with you over the coming months. Thank you. Bye-bye.